it should be live now. So this is like the 5th time I've had to restart this stream. Like, gone like 10 minutes into a stream and then had to end it because there's something or not that I don't like, but something kind of weird happens that I wouldn't want to be in the guide. Like something shows up on the screen for some reason. I get a notification. So hopefully this stream goes okay. Today's character is going to be Piranha, so let's go ahead and get into this. I have like a website that I usually use to look at a few things for my Twitch. I don't have open today because on my phone, where I usually use that website, I have notes for Piranha written down that I'm going to kind of use during certain sections of this guide, and I kind of just can't see that, so the stream might be a little bit different from the usual guides, but hopefully it's not anything too weird. But yeah, today's character is Piranha, as I said earlier. He's got average run speed. His run speed is at number 39, and Incineroar's number 78, and he's at the bottom, so it's pretty much got like the perfect average run speed. But there's not a lot of good things that come out of having like the slower run speed compared to the other characters, the other 38 that are above Piranha, which I'll kind of get into that. So its run speed, because it's slow, like a lot of characters get rewarded for having a slow run speed is what I mean, and I feel like Piranha doesn't really get that much in return for it. And then his, I guess its airspeed and walk speed are pretty slow. Walk speed's one of the slowest in the game. I believe it's at like the 4th slowest, although it's tied with a few other ones, so I really am not sure. But yeah, it's just a very slow walk speed, and then airspeed's a bit higher than the walk speed. It's not like as close to the bottom as that, but it's still on the lower half of the airspeed chart, so it's going to be pretty slow as well, but it's not too bad or anything. Like, it's still somewhat manageable. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into moveset. So dash attack, very weak. It does about 12%, and that's with stale moves off. I actually have to turn that on because that doesn't show like the true damage. So you can see it does 12.6, and then the sour spot, which is if you get like a lingering hit, does 8.8. So it's not really that much damage. It's pretty unsafe throughout. If you miss it, it has a lot of in lag, so you can get punished pretty easily. Same thing if it gets shielded or parried, then it has even more in lag, so it's very easy to punish Piranha for throwing out the move. Most time, if I throw out Piranha dash attack, it's a mistake. Like, there might be a time where I use it just to get someone away from me, but it just has very low knockback. It doesn't kill until about 210% at the ledge on Captain Falconeer, so it's just a very weak move that is very easy to punish, so there's not much reward for throwing it out or even like risking it, because it's not going to kill unless you're in sudden death, most likely. Then you have your jabs, so you have a 3-hit jab that does a bit of percent. It's pretty weak compared to the rapid jab. The rapid jab actually kills a bit faster, but it does get more consistent damage as long as your opponent knows how to SDI, that is. If your opponent doesn't really know how to SDI or get them in the corner, then you might be able to get a bit more damage with the rapid jab. But as you can see, it's still not going to be that much of an advantage, like getting you about 10% more, which really isn't that bad, but the rapid jab could probably be SDI'd out of better by a real opponent. This is just a CPU in training mode. And then I didn't get like the last hit on the rapid jab, so I could have been punished for keeping it still jabbing the way that it was. And if that would have happened, then you probably would have taken more percent than you actually would have done, so it would have been worse for you. So yeah, rapid jab kills, like, I believe at 160. I don't actually have that one written down in my notes, but I have a few other ones. I should have probably written that one down. Whereas I couldn't see the percent for the 3-hit. Like, I just tested it compared to rapid jab, and then I was like, okay, it kills much later because it sent Falcon about that far, and I was like, yeah, that's probably not going to kill for a while, so I'm just gonna say it's pretty useless unless someone's like directly in front of you and you just want to hit them with a move to get them away from you, in which case it's not that bad for doing that. But rapid jab will just get you more percent, although your opponents can SDI out of it, so you have to let go of it pretty quickly, like that. And then we have the tilt, so I'm going to start out with forward tilt. It's very similar to like your 3-hit jab, where you just do 2 moves, although it doesn't really do that much percent. It does 14.4. It doesn't really have that much knockback either. It kills at 160, I have written down my notes at the ledge, so it's pretty weak. It's pretty good for getting people away from you if they're directly in front of you. Like, Piranha Plant has neutral air, forward air, back air, well, that's not back air, but there's back air, dash attack, and then the jabs, as well as forward tilt to be able to get people away from them if they are in front of Captain Falcon, but forward tilt's probably the best one, or in terms of speed, because you also got forward smash and down smash, I guess, but they're a bit slower, whereas with forward tilt, it's much faster. That's not forward tilt, but that is. It doesn't kill until much later than your smash attacks, but it's a bit safer to throw out because there's less end lag and less starting lag, so it's faster, so it's harder to punish people if they move faster, basically. Then you've got down tilt and up tilt, which are basically both combo starters, although they're extremely weak. Up tilt kills very late into the game, and it combo starts a bit later than down tilt does, and it pretty much only combos into fair. So it's not that great, and it doesn't really combo into fair for that long. Whereas with down tilt, it combos into fair until about like 120%. I've written down my notes, and that was with stale moves on, or stale moves off, so I'm not fully sure with stale moves on. But it doesn't combo at 0%, but if it's any percent above 0 until about 120%, then down tilt to fair will work. Although it doesn't kill. Like, you won't be able to pick up any kills with it unless you're on a walk-off stage, because the blast zones are too far away. Maybe WarioWare, but even then that'd be kind of risky. Although, if your opponent's at about 100%, they'll be knocked pretty far away out of the down tilt, if you don't have the down tilt stalled from overuse or anything like that. So, you will have to do a bit of a dash in between, but it will still be a true combo, as long as you do the fair fast enough. And then, yeah, I guess that pretty much covers it for tilts. Like, down tilt, it hits pretty low to the ground, as you can see there, so it's pretty decent at shield poking, so if you do poke someone's shield with it, you can get a fair out of it, so you'll be able to get about 20%, or, no, not about 20, but, yeah, actually about 20, as it said there, but I thought I'd messed up that. But yeah, you'll be able to get a decent amount of percent, but, it's still not going to kill, so it's pretty, like, bad as a combo, because a lot of combos from different characters, they'll either kill, they'll do a lot more than 20%, or they're just like a good way to pick up damage, and some or only work on certain characters in certain scenarios. Whereas with Piranha Plant, his is more consistent, or it's just more consistent, but it's still pretty weak. Like, you can't really do much with down tilt to fair, and then as soon as it stops working, then you don't really have any combos after that to be able to kill with. Okay, now we have your smash attacks, which down smash is pretty weak as well. It kills 120% as a ledge, and that's uncharged, so as you can see there at 0%, it has pretty much no knockback, and it doesn't even cause your opponent to go into tumble. It can kind of lead into a down air like that at the ledge, but at about this percent, it will start to have that tumble effect that I was talking about, where people will enter into tech chases and things like that. You could use it for that. It is pretty quick, but it does have pretty limited range, as you can see here. It looks like it might hit. Like, there are some positions where you can stand where it looks like it would hit, but it kind of doesn't. But it's not too bad of a problem. It's just that down smash, like, my main problem with it is that you could just use down tilt into fair and be able to get percent off of that, rather than have to use down smash, and then you get about 15% off of a down smash if you don't have it uncharged, or if you have it uncharged, but if you just do down tilt fair, then you get 19.3%, as I said there, so you'll be able to get a lot more percent just from doing that, and it's a lot easier to do that because you just have to down tilt so it's faster and it's less risky. Then you've got forward smash, which has two forms basically. One is the non-spaced one, and the other one is the spaced one. So if you space it out, it will do more damage and knockback than the non-spaced one. Forward smash is probably your best smash attack. It's actually pretty fast for a forward smash. Like, a lot of characters' forward smashes have a lot more in lag than Piranha Plants does. But because of this, Piranha Plants is a little bit weaker in terms of just like general damage output. Only does about 24%. Where a lot of forward smashes can do like 30 to 40% depending on the character. Although it does still kill at around 70% like most other forward smashes, so it's still pretty decent at picking up a kill. It does have pretty limited range though. It kind of moves you forward a bit after you use it though, so maybe you could hit your opponent while you're charging it. Or not while you're charging, but after you use one, and then if they don't move, then you can throw another one out if you're playing in a like very laggy game or something like that, but really most people aren't going to be able to fall for that. So you do want to land the move though. If you do miss it, it still has a decent enough amount of in-lag to make it where you can't be punished, and same thing for if it gets shielded or parried. It's just your kind of standard smash attack in terms of that. Like, it has in-lag, so it can be punished, although a few characters don't really have much in-lag on their smash attack. Piranha Plant's not one of them though. And then you have up smash, which is actually really good for some reason. It's probably Piranha Plant's like single best move, if I had to say, because a lot of characters' up smashes are much weaker than Piranha Plant's. Like, I was kind of surprised to figure out like how strong it is compared to a lot of other characters, but Piranha Plant's up smash can kill at 100%, whereas with a lot of characters, it just doesn't really work unless they're on like a battlefield stage or on the second or third platform. Whereas with Piranha Plant, you can kind of just run to someone and up smash them like that, and it will be able to kill them on Final Destination from the bottom platform to the top, and that's uncharged. As long as you hit the strong hit, that is. If you manage to hit the weak hit somehow that combos into the strong hit, then I guess it wouldn't work then. But the strong hit is just the second hit, and it's the one that just sends people into the sky. And it's a very good move out of shield because it's very fast. It does have a bit of in-lag though, so you do have to be careful for that. But if somebody's like right next to your shield, then you can just up smash them. If they're landing on you, you can up smash them, but it does have pretty limited range. You can see here. At this range, you probably want to use like forward smash or something similar to that instead of up smash. But up smash still isn't really that bad of an option. And then obviously on platform stage, it's going to kill much faster than it would on Final Destination because the supply zone's going to be a bit closer for standing on those platforms. Yeah, that's pretty much going to cover it for your smash attacks. Up smash and forward smash are pretty good. Down smash is still decent at best, but it's pretty lackluster compared to the other two, so I'd recommend to use them a lot more than down smash. But down smash can still be good at catching people if they're like landing and you're not sure if they'll have enough in-lag, or if you'll have enough like lag on them to be able to hit a forward smash. So like if Captain Falcon upbeat and I wasn't sure how much in-lag that had, I could throw it a down smash, but most time you should be able to land a forward smash in scenarios where you can down smash. But yeah, now into your aerials. You've got neutral air, then you've got up air, which does like combo to itself once if you do a landing up air, but it's still it's like pretty weak though, so it's not that great. Then you've got back air, forward air, and the final one is going to be down air. So with neutral air, pretty decent out of shield because it's very fast, does a bit of damage as well at about 10.2 as you can see there. Or I guess 11.7 if it's not still, because I had already used it once, which made it a bit still. But it's pretty fast, it has very little landing lag compared to a lot of your other aerials, and it covers a decent amount of distance around Piranha Plant as well, because you kind of just use your like leaf blades as a propeller around yourself to kind of cover people are in front of you, behind you, underneath you, or above you. So you can hit people in pretty much any one of those positions, but it can still be outranged by a few characters. Neutral airs and forward airs, if they have like swords for example, so characters like Ike has a very similar arrow though it has much more range than Piranha Plants does. Then you've got fair and back air, which will be the next ones I go over. It's not the same order that I did a second ago, but I kind of just like to go over them after neutral air. So with forward air, it's very weak. It's mainly just used in combos of either down throw or down tilt fair. And both of those work okay. Down throw fair works at 0, so it's a bit better than down tilt fair at that percent. But both of them mainly just build up percent. Down throw fair also gets a bit more percent than down throw or than down tilt fair. Then you've got back air, which is actually a very good back air compared to a lot of other back airs in the game, because it can get kills at the ledge at about 100%. So if we just go here, you can see you kind of shoot a fireball behind you pretty quickly, and you're able to pick up a kill pretty easily with it. It's just pretty fast in terms of startup for the amount of like damage and knockback it does, so it's really good at just edge guarding or trying to like land on someone. Although, if you're trying to land on someone, or I mean not on someone, but like, when I said land on someone, I meant do a cross up like that. Although, if you do cross somebody up, you want to make sure that you hit them, because sometimes the move can just like cancel if you're too close to the ground, and you'll have a bit of end lag. But if you do the move and you miss someone, it has much more end lag. Fair has a lot less end lag. Oh, that was neutral air. It also has less end lag, but it can't really kill at the ledge for a very long time. It doesn't kill until about like 200% at the ledge, whereas with back air it kills at 100 at the ledge. So it kills much faster. Up air is pretty weak on most stages. On platform stages, it can be used to kill off the top, like with most characters' up airs. It can kind of be used to juggle, but Piranha Plant can't really juggle that well due to average speed on the ground and slower speed in the air. As you can see, you can kind of use it for a bit of a combo like this, but outside of that, like up air kind of will combo into itself if you do a falling up air into a rising up air. It doesn't really do that for that long, and it's pretty weak, but that's something that can happen. A lot of the problems I have with up air come from its range. It just doesn't really hit, or it doesn't like hit a lot of opponents that are pretty small. So like Pichu and Squirtle, for example, can kind of just go completely untouched by a falling up air sometimes. You can still hit them occasionally, but it's pretty rare. And then even people that are landing somewhat near you, it just doesn't really have that much range that it covers above Piranha Plant's head. Like up smash at least covers Piranha Plant's entire head and then a bit around that. Like up air kind of does the same thing, but it pretty much has the same range as down smash. Down smash has a bit more range than it, but it's still pretty low range. Like neutral air and up air have about the same amount of range above Piranha Plant, and up air is a lot slower than neutral air. Then you've got down air, which is a pretty strong spike if you do land it, but the spike hitbox is very small, and it pretty much only happens if you're landing directly on top of someone, and then you hit them with a pot as soon as it's going down, because there's like part of the animation where it's above Piranha Plant's head and then another part where it goes underneath him. If you hit them when it goes directly underneath Piranha Plant in that perfect spot, then it will spike. Like it should have spiked there, but it doesn't have that great of a stage spike. It spikes much better like off the stage, but I can't really show that here because it's pretty hard to land. Or like I'll try to do it here on a 4 tilt. You see there, I kind of messed up on it. But the actual hitbox for down air itself, it's not a spike, it's pretty weak. It does a bit of percent, but it really doesn't do that much knockback. Especially if you get the lingering hit like that. So, as you can see there, I'm getting strong hits here, and it's still not really doing that much. But yeah, that's pretty much going to cover it for aerials. You've got aerials like neutral air and back air that are pretty decent. Like, neutral air is kind of good for landing on people, and just, you know, you can kind of land on people and get a rapid jab occasionally. Back air is pretty good for picking up kills and edge guarding, and then forward air is pretty useful in combos. Up air can also be useful in combos, but not much, and then down air can be used for edge guarding if you do land the spike hit, though it is pretty risky to go for as it is a small spike hit. And it has a lot of aerial end lag, so if somebody, like Captain Falcon for example, who has like a damaging up special, if you do the down air too early and then they are able to hit you with the up special and they do, then that's kind of something that can happen because you can't really air dodge for a bit of time out of the down air. As you can see, I'm doing it out of my double jump, and then as soon as I touch the ground pretty much is whenever I air dodge, and I'm holding down the shield button to be able to do that. And then we've got your special attacks. So you've got neutral special, which is this little spike ball projectile. It comes out of Piranha Plant's mouth, and then he blows it up. Right, it blows it up, and the closer it is to Piranha Plant's mouth, the further it will go. And it will also be a bit faster. But what I like to do is something like this, where you just kind of up throw someone, and then you wait for them to throw out a move potentially, and then if they don't really do that much, then you can hit them with the neutral B. Or I kind of just like to instantly neutral B, just try to see if they do air dodge in a different direction, then you can kind of just potentially angle it to hit them. But really, like, the angles are kind of weird. Most of the time you won't be able to hit opponents unless you have it perfectly angled, and if you hold it directly above Piranha Plant's head, it will travel a lot closer to Piranha Plant, whereas if you get it closer to Piranha Plant's mouth, it will travel much further from Piranha Plant, so you can kind of use that to be able to snipe people off stage. But the projectile itself is really weak. It doesn't kill until like about 100%, which isn't that bad for a projectile, but when you realize that it's kind of difficult to aim unless you've practiced with it a lot, because Piranha Plant is a kind of tall character, so even taller characters like Captain Falcon just aren't affected by the neutral B. Well, yeah, there we go, finally hit him. And the further the neutral B travels in the air, the less damage it will do as well. So you want to try to make sure that you do it as close to someone as possible. And then it can also bounce off the ground for a bit, and it will still do a bit of damage if it bounces off the ground, so I'll kind of show that here, I guess. So like that two little bouncing there. It does a bit of damage, not too much knockback though. So if somebody does run into it, they will take a small amount. It's about like 13% or 15%, somewhere around there. So it's not anything too special, but it just kind of means that you get to get out of the in lag of the neutral B, because it does have a bit of in lag unless you swallow the projectile. If you shoot the projectile out, it has a bit more. Then you've got down special, which I really don't understand why so many people are like this move. I guess because it's damage output if you line it up properly, but there's pretty much no reason why a lot of players should be hit by the move. It doesn't do that much damage unless you have it fully charged. Like, if I just have it barely charged at all, and I run up to Captain Falcon, it does about 12%. That's not really spaced out properly, though. The, like, further you are away from your opponent, the more damage it will do. So you pretty much just have to run up close to Piranha Plant, or just shield while the Piranha Plant is charging the neutral, or the down special, not just special. And then you should be able to either avoid the damage, or if you can avoid the damage, just get as close to Piranha Plant as possible. And you should be able to avoid most of the damage or knockback, because it will be pretty weak if you just run up to someone and you're right next to them. If it's spaced, it does, or it kills at about 70% at the ledge, but if it's not spaced, it doesn't kill until about 120%, so that's a big difference. It's 50%. So, closer, or you want to kind of stay in Piranha Plant's face, because Piranha Plant can't really do much either. As I said, neutral B doesn't really work if you're right next to Piranha Plant, like it did there, but I mean if you're right here, it's not going to do anything. And then down special will do a lot less damage, just 22.9% as you can see there, rather than 30%, and the knockback is much less in comparison. Then you've got slide special, and I'll go for up special last. So slide special, kind of just create a poison cloud on your opponent. It does a bit of percent for a few seconds, and it will add up pretty quickly. If you grab someone and then pummel them while the poison effect's happening, then you can get a lot of damage pretty quickly, because you'll have them trapped in the grab, but if they mash out of it, then they can escape the poison cloud pretty easily. It's kind of the same thing with rapid jab. You can also hide inside of the poison cloud and charge like a down special, even though it will still make the noise. But maybe you can distract someone with that, because it does cover a pretty large distance, just in terms of like the circumference of the cloud itself is pretty large, but the actual cloud itself isn't too threatening. Like, if Piranha Plant just did it here, there's not much it can do. It kind of blows over to whatever direction Piranha Plant's facing, so it will travel a bit as well. So if you're on the, like, if Falcon was right here, and then I were to slide special in, and then kind of run away, then he could actually kind of just run out of the cloud. Like, he kind of ran out of it there, he didn't get hit by all the hits, but, or I think he actually did get hit by all the hits, but he got, or, but you can still escape from most of the hits if you're an actual person and not just a CPU that's designed to stop if Piranha Plant's run away, or you can just, like, push Piranha Plant out of the way. Piranha Plant is kind of heavy, but not to the point where you couldn't push it out of the way if it was standing completely still and get hit by all the hits of the cloud. But yeah, the main problem I have with slide special, though, other than its small space, is the fact that if it's reflected at all, then it becomes completely irrelevant to Piranha Plant. To your opponent, they can stand inside of it, and then Piranha Plant can't stand inside of it, and will do a bit more damage to Piranha Plant than it will to the opponents as well. So all it takes is a character like Mario to just slide special while somewhat near the cloud, and if it does connect, then it will reflect it, and then the cloud is pretty much useless. So, against any projectile character, that kind of weakens Piranha Plant, because that's one of the main ways that Piranha Plant gets damage out, is through, like, running up, doing slide special, and then grabbing someone, down throwing them into a fair or something like that, just to be able to get as much damage as possible out of the scenario. And then you have up special, which it reminds me a lot of King K. Rool's up special, because it just travels pretty far and you catch people with a propeller, but kind of like King K. Rool's up special, it doesn't really offer that much knockback. It can still be used to kill people off the top, and then you can also drag people off the sides with it as well, but it's pretty risky to go for that, because if you do drag someone off the side and then they manage to escape, then you just kind of SD, because you can't really make it backstage because you're into special fall, unless someone saves you. So if you're playing in doubles, and or your opponent might save you, or not opponent, but teammate. Your opponent could potentially save you in singles as well, but it's pretty unlikely, as that will result in Piranha Plant losing its stock. And then you can also SDI out of the up special as well. But yeah, up special, I used to always kind of just do like this to get kills, although I think it might have been nerfed, I'm not really sure though. Because I remember it getting a lot more kills than it does now. Maybe that was just when people didn't know too much about Piranha Plant, because that was about the time Piranha Plant released. That's when I'm talking about using up special to kill. And it would work on most opponents, like even like level 9 CPUs or things like that. Opponents online and like Quick Play or Elite Smash would fall for that. But now it just seems to be pretty useless for Piranha Plant. It's not that great of an out of shield option, because it sends you very high up into the air and then you fall down. So if you do miss it, then you can be punished pretty easily. The up special itself, while you're using it to recover, is pretty good, although you are open to attack. So you'll be punished for doing that pretty easily. If your opponent's pretty far away from you, or they got like a projectile, then they can kind of just punish the inline. Or if you don't want to deal with inline, you can grab the ledge, and they can punish your ledge options. But yeah, finally we have grabs. So you've got down throw, or I guess I'll go pommel first. So pommel does a bit of damage, but it's kind of slower than most pommels, I guess. Pikachu, I believe, has like the fastest pommel, if not one of the fastest pommels, and Piranha Plants is noticeably slower. But yeah, down throw is pretty much your main combo starter. You can do down throw fair, and it will do a bit of percent, and it works at 0%. So you can basically do down throw fair, and as soon as you've done a down throw fair, then you can start down tilting fair, or down tilting to fair. Because at 0% it doesn't work, but pretty much any percent above 0 it will work. And then you've got up throw, which is a kill throw. It's a pretty good kill throw as well, but outside of being a kill throw, it doesn't really do that much. Like, its knockback at lower percents is pretty weak. It can kind of lead into a juggle, but Piranha Plant can't juggle that well. Forward throw and back throw, like back throw can be used to kill, but forward throw is kind of just used to set up edge guards or tech faces, whereas with back throw, it's much stronger, so it can be used to kill because of its knockback power, but it can also set up for edge guards at lower percents. And that was an example of down air spiking I finally managed to land when on stream. But the hitbox for it is pretty small, so it is kind of risky to go for a down air, as I said earlier, against characters like Captain Falcon that can hit you after using the down air, but because of the position Falcon was in, then if I would have missed, then I would have been behind him, so he wouldn't have been able to punish me that bad. He can still grab the ledge and then try to edgeguard me from there, but just depending on the character, it might be slower or faster. So the down air would be safer or riskier depending on the speed. Yeah, now we can get into an actual game here, so I'm just going to play against CPU like I usually do. Yeah, I'm staying a bit too close to Falcon here. Falcon is pretty fast though, so I'm gonna have to be next to him even if I try to run away. Yeah, just gonna try to land that there. Charge up poison. You can see I kind of like down aired on his shield to try to cross up the shield, and then he tried to grab me out of the shield rather than turn around and then grab. So I managed to forward tilt him because of that. Okay, I'm just gonna get the Cloud fully charged here, and then do a bit of damage to Falcon. If he goes for a stomp like that, then you just have to, like, up special into the stage. But yeah, that's gonna be an up smash out of parry for sure. I didn't even mean to parry that, I was gonna up smash it, but I let go of shield too early and it parried. So that just made it where I was able to kill him a bit easier. Because you should be able to up smash Captain Falcon out of shield for doing a Falcon Kick because of how much inline the Falcon Kick has. Yeah, just going to throw out a Poison Cloud there to kind of get in a bit of damage. I probably won't be able to use it on stage at all because Falcon can just run out of the way or jump out of the way. I went pretty low there as soon as I heard like the beginning of that Raptor boost, and then I just threw out a down air because I just wanted to stall a bit. And it's going to be a back air. And let's see. Try to do a down tilt here. That somehow managed to get it a lot more percent than I thought it would. Went for a back air there. Really shouldn't have done that. Yeah, I was about to up smash there. But I forgot his up smash has like no in lag for some reason. And so does his down smash. His down smash is actually kind of insane. Because it has less lag than his up smash does, and his up smash already doesn't really have that much. But that's gonna be the game there. Piranha Plant is a decent character. I really don't know if Piranha Plant's like a rushdown or a zoner because Piranha Plant has the neutral B. A lot of people seem to use that when playing Piranha Plant. I really don't use it that much. I kind of play more rushdown, so I guess Piranha Plant would be that, although I'm not sure, honestly. Like, you could technically use down special off stage to kind of just hit people or try to threaten them and make it where they have to like air dodge or they have to up special really low, but then you can still be punished for making them up special low because you will be low. And then they can just up special past you. So I really don't understand that much of why a lot of people seem to use down special. Kind of as I said earlier, it's pretty weak if your opponent's right next to you, and then if you fully charge it, it has a long charge time. So you could potentially do a bit of damage to them and could potentially get a kill, but it's much riskier, or it's much less risky to go for something like a forward smash or go for an edge guard rather than try to throw it down special and then nothing happen and you potentially get punished. I didn't use it there, but I kind of forgot to mention this. I guess one thing I use down special for is when I'm recovering sometimes, depending on the character. It does have super armor inside of the pod, so as long as you're charging it, then you could take a hit of a pretty weak move, so I kind of just use it to try to absorb a hit and then get back to stage against certain characters, but Captain Falcon kind of just hit through the super armor, because he's strong enough to be able to do that. But yeah, that's pretty much going to cover it for Piranha Plant. According to my tier list currently, I do think Piranha Plant is the worst character in the game competitively. And I kind of want to explain my reasoning for that here. So, as I said earlier, Piranha Plant has pretty average speed. So, it's better to have fast speed than average speed for sure, because having average speed is not as bad as having slow speed, but you just want to have faster speed, and having average speed isn't that great. You have a pretty large model, like, compared to Captain Falcon, he's a bit taller in some parts of his idle animation, but Piranha Plant's also a bit taller in parts of theirs. Piranha Plant has a pretty slow airspeed compared to a lot of characters, so that just means Piranha Plant's a pretty large target to be able to hit, especially when your recovery just kind of protects your sides or it protects part of you in different places depending on how you angle it, but it's still not that great. Then it's still not a bad recovery, it's just an exploitable one, kind of, so that's not great, because even having an exploitable recovery just means that you can recover to stage, but that's no one's edge guarding you, and a lot of characters in this game do have a decent potential edge guard. Piranha Plant can struggle to kill sometimes, because you just don't really have too many options. Like, if somebody runs up and hits your shield, then you can just up smash them, so that just means people just have to kind of stay away from your shield and just hit you whenever you throw out a move. Because a lot of Piranha Plant's moves have a decent amount of lag, like down air has landing lag, forward air has decent landing lag, back air has much more, and then like up air has decent landing lag as well. So those are just examples of like landing lag, but then you've got like forward smash, up smash, and down smash, because their smash attacks are going to have landing lag. Your down special has landing lag, and your up special as well. Your neutral special really are not landing lag, but ending lag. And then your neutral special doesn't have that bad of ending lag, but it's still somewhat bad. I think Piranha Plant's projectile is kind of overrated, but at the same time underrated. It's good in certain scenarios and certain matchups, but it's not as great as what a lot of people say. It doesn't really kill that consistently, because you do have to be able to land the move, and if you just can't land the move, like if somebody has a reflector, then you can't land the move because they can just reflect it. Because it travels pretty quickly, so if they do reflect it, like while they're recovering or something like that, they should still be able to make it back to stage pretty easily. And then side special is just kind of completely useless in matches with with matches with reflectors as well. So Piranha Plant can kind of struggle to do damage from a distance, and then if Piranha Plant is up close, then Piranha Plant has like up smash out of shield as a defensive option, but any other defensive options, like I guess neutral air out of shield's decent, but like jumping out of shield's kind of bad. Doing grab out of shield's kind of bad, because if you do miss the grab, it's kind of slow. The grab itself's not that bad, but the ending lag on the grab is pretty slow, and you don't really get that much. You just get down throw fair. So, or unless your opponent's at like 150%, or not 50, but like 130% for up throw. But yeah, that's kind of it. Like Piranha Plant doesn't have that solid of grabs, doesn't have good defensive options, has pretty mediocre offensive options, has an exploitable recovery, pretty slow, or not slow, but like average movement speed on the ground, and then slow walk speed and air speed. Has a pretty large hitbox as well. It's just, and then a lot of Piranha Plant's moves just kill pretty late, like F tilt, back, or not back air, but forward air, down special if it's up close to someone, and things like that. They all just kill pretty late, so you don't really have too much. Like, you have decent damage output, I guess is what I'm trying to say, but your kill power is just pretty weak in comparison to your damage output. So it's just not that great of a trade. Like, you want to have more kill power than damage output in most cases, but with Piranha Plant you just don't really have that much of either. Like, even Piranha Plant's damage output's not that high compared to a lot of other characters. There are characters like Ganondorf that can do the same amount of damage of a Piranha Plant combo, like down throw to fair, with the same number of hits, and do like 3 to 4 times as much damage. Like, Piranha Plant, as I said earlier, does decent damage with these combos, but it's nothing too special compared to characters with either much higher damage output or lower damage output, but higher damage combos. But yeah, that's pretty much going to cover it, so I'm going to just go to zoom here and then go over some taunts. So, we got up taunt, side taunt, and down taunt. So yeah, that's going to be it for now. I might stream later. I don't think I am, though, because I kind of want to do some stuff with, or for July 4th. I just wanted to make sure that I got this stream in to have one for today. Tomorrow's character is going to be Joker, and I kind of wanted to do that tier list thing today, where I was going to update the tier list, as I kind of said earlier. Or, I think that was yesterday's stream where I mentioned that I wanted to update the tier list. And then I also mentioned it in a YouTube comment, and I said I was going to do it today. But I've been extremely busy today. I really haven't had that much time to stream. Like, I've been trying to set up the stream. This was my 5th attempt, so I'm sorry if things are messed up. But I've been trying to get this stream out since, like, 6 o'clock, and it's currently 8:54. So it's taken me a bit of time to get this started. But hopefully it's not too messed up. I'm noticing that the frames are continuing to drop, so I really can't do much about that. I'm sorry if the quality of the stream is going down, but this is pretty much going to be it. I'm pretty sure it's at the end as well, because, yeah, the frame drops just kind of keep going up, so sorry about that, nothing I can do. Though I am just going to end this stream here. Tomorrow's characters, like I said, it was Joker, and then we just have the Miis, and those will be the last 2 guides, so then we'll be done with that, and I can redo the other guides that I kind of have planned to redo, or maybe do some more guides that go a little bit more in depth with certain characters, like more in depth with combos, or more in depth on neutral, things like that. with characters that I main, like Pikachu, or I've mained in the past, like Lucina and Daisy, for example. But that's going to be it for now, and I guess hope to see everyone in the next stream.